In this video, I'm going to be taking off my aftermarket Akrapovič exhaust here. Full titanium system exhaust. The previous owner put this on, but he didn't color it with the heat. So I'm going to be taking it out and I'm going to be using a propane to color it blue with the heat cycles and try and do it properly. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a step-by-step tutorial, starting with how to take the exhaust off. If you have the stock exhaust on there, it's going to be a little different. There's a couple different things on there, so I'd recommend maybe looking at a different video. But if you're in the same situation as me where the previous owner put the aftermarket exhaust on there, you're in the right place. And I'm going to start by taking off this fairing here, and I'm going to do it on the other side. So it's going to be a T25 to fit in these fairing screws right here. So I've got the exhaust exposed. First fairing is off. Now I'm going to take off the other side as well, just so I don't have to do it later. Alright, I went ahead and got this side off here. Took all the screws out so we can see that there. Put that over there. Okay, so now we're moving on to taking off the exhaust. And the first thing I'm going to do here is take the slip off. I'm going to take this screw out here and then take this screw out here, and then it should come off. So I'm going to take those both out right now. When you're dealing with the exhaust, you want to wear gloves so that you don't get your oily residue on. Alright, so I just got the slip on off right here. I took this here, which connects down there. So now the next part, I'm going to start disconnecting these bits here, and then I'll take these hooks off, and that should be it. And we'll see if it can come off. I don't know if it's screwed on anywhere, but I don't think it is, so let's find out. Alright, so I went around and I unhooked all of these, going all the way around. There's one over there too. And then I just took off the first one. This one right here goes in this hole, and it looks like this. There is a washer right there, don't lose that. And then I twisted this way to take it off, so I twisted that way to tighten it when we're putting it back on. So now I'm going to do this one and then that one over there, and we're going to see if it comes off. Okay, so I just got the next one off. This one right here goes in there, and then so don't lose that. Now I'm gonna go get that one over there and double check. That should be the last thing holding this piece on there. All right, we just got the last one off. It's this one right here, goes up in there. It's this one right here, probably like the closer one, goes right here. I turned it this way to get it off, and then this way we're gonna tighten it. Also the washer right on there. This one with the wire showing goes in this hole right here. So now I'm gonna go to the other side and I'm gonna try and see that it'll come off. Okay, so the exhaust is quite stuck on there, so I'm gonna use some WD-40 to loosen it up. And this is okay. You know, I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest, but it's okay as long as we clean it as well as possible, thoroughly clean it. And we're going to get to that later, but currently I'm going to use this, and then later, once it's off, we're going to clean it with soap and water. So I'm just going to spray it right in there on all that, and then go on the other side and do it as well. And then I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. Alright, so I let it sit for a little bit, added a little bit more, and I got it off. It's stuck on there pretty good, as it should be. We need to make sure when we put it back on that it's also going to be very tight so that it doesn't come loose. I've decided that I'm not going to be doing the headers in this video. The headers is definitely the hardest part of this project. You have to get up in there with a small wrench, and it's very finicky. I saw one guy even had to take his entire radiator out. But that's not for coloring it, that's just for the full system exhaust. And I'm just coloring this piece right here because that's all that's really visible. And I'm not going to go through all that work just to do something you can't even see. So I got this piece off here, and now, since I got that WD-40 on there, we need to clean it off. Now, we're going to need to sand it. I got soap and water in a bottle right here. All I'm going to do here is spray it down with the soap and the water, and also these too, because I'm not taking that off, but we need to get that. And I'm going to wipe it down very good, and then we're going to get into the next step. Okay, so now to clean it, we're going to use rubbing alcohol and a microfiber cloth. So I'm just gonna get this cloth wet. With it, I'm gonna rub it good, get all that oil off of there. All that oil, make sure it's nice and clean. So I'm gonna do this probably for a couple minutes and just rub it down really good. Also, I'm going to open the garage because you guys don't want to be inhaling this stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this garage, and I'm going to keep wiping this down for a couple more minutes, make sure we get everything off, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so the next step to heating the color pipe is to sand it. I would say start on 600 or 800, and we're just going to sand that down for a couple minutes, get all the imperfections out, any scratches. Make sure you go in straight lines, don't go in circles, straight lines so that it looks the best. And then after that, we'll go into polishing it. So I'm starting with 320, 1000, 2000, and then 2500. So I'm going to sand everything down. Alright, I went through with the 1000 grit sandpaper, and this is what it's looking like. There is some purple there because, you know, obviously it's already been used, but I think that would come out if you went with like an 800 grit or a 600 grit and moved that. Alright, so I've gone through with all the different sandpaper grits that I had said, and it looks pretty good. This one does. I mean, it's pretty close to, you know, basic silver. There is a little bit of purple there. I think if you started on 600 or 800 for that, that would be probably gone and it'll look a little better. But I think it'll go away once we heat it. And then I've moved on to this piece right here, and I decided, since for me the color is like pretty bad, pretty blotchy, you know, pretty discolored and not really even, so I went down to a 320 grit, which is pretty low. I don't have 600 or 800, so that's why I used that one. But if you have 600 800, you shouldn't be as worried. If you are using a lower grit like 300, make sure you're just going straight across like this. Don't go in circles, and don't push too hard or else it'll leave deeper scratches. Just let the sandpaper do the work and just go over. I went over for about maybe 10 minutes, and then now I'm going to move up to 1000, 2000, and then 2500, and it should look pretty good. So I'm going to go through with the rest of the sandpaper, and that should be it. Alright, so I'm done sanding it. It looks pretty good, I would say. I think that's the best it's going to get. The next step is to polish it with any type of metal polisher will work. I'm using that with a microfiber or with a drill and a towel on the end. So now I'm going to go ahead and polish it along with this here too. Polish all this. This is what I'm using, but you can use any polisher. And then after that, we're going to wipe it down. Alright, so I've polished both of the things with the cloth, and this is how it looks. Looks pretty good, you know. It's still not perfect, but I think once we bring the torch to it, we're gonna try to make it look consistent. Might not be perfect, but it's gonna look better than it did for sure. So I'm gonna let the polish sit on there, but the next step, we're gonna go back to the alcohol and the microfiber cloth, and we're gonna wipe off all of the polish and make sure there's no grease or oils on it, and then we're going to take the torch to it. So get ready for that. Alright, so we've polished and wiped all the polishing off with rubbing alcohol, and we're ready to move on to the heating. I'm using a propane torch, and a couple tips before we go into this is even strokes, not one spot at a time, even strokes, a couple inches away, slowly until it's the color you want. I think I might be overdoing it right there. It's turning kind of white, so I gotta be really careful. Yeah, I think I kind of messed it up right there, but I think I'm gonna set it down, and it looks fine, but I think I'm gonna move on to that and just let this cool down, and then we'll do a second round later.
This is taking a really long time.
Okay, so I figured out I was doing it too far away. Coming along a lot quicker now, so you do have to be really close with the propane torch. Hold it there until it gets red, and then pull away and it'll turn blue. I've kind of found the technique. You need to get nice and close, but you know, until it gets red hot, kind of back off and just keep moving the torch. I thought maybe this silver was because I overdid it, but that's actually just when it's starting. That's kind of what I'm going for. So you just got to hold it there long enough. All right, it's starting to get dark out and it's starting to rain. So I'm going to finish this tomorrow, but it's coming along. I'm probably about halfway done. I got the method down. I'm going to finish it tomorrow and I'll see you then. All right, so it's actually not the next day, but actually later the night. I'm just itching to get this done here, so I'm going to continue to color it with the blowtorch, and we're going to see if we can get it blue, see if we can get it finished tonight, and I'll keep you posted. This is what we got so far. It looks decent. It works here on the end, because on the other side too, but like the further you get up, it's like not changing to blue for some reason. But I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to see if it'll change. Hey, I honestly think it's coming along here, but to be honest, I don't think it's going to be perfect, but compared to what it was, it's going to look pretty good. It's going to have different colorations, purple, gold, light blue, dark blue, but you're going to be able to know that it's titanium, and it's honestly going to give my bike a unique look, and I'm honestly starting to accept that. I am no magician, especially when it comes to the garage, when it comes to work on my bike. I suck. I honestly had trouble getting the fairings off my bike in order to get the exhaust off in the first place. So for this to turn out kind of like this, which, you know, it doesn't look amazing, but it doesn't look terrible, it's going to be unique, and every time I look at the exhaust on my bike, I'm going to know I did that. I went through the work to take it off, to get the blowtorch, to do all this. This has taken me all day, and it's honestly been fun. It's been a fun adventure. It's been a fun time. It's going to be a unique experience. When people ask, I'll be like, yeah, I took the exhaust off, and I spent 3 hours blowtorching it in the garage at 12 o'clock at night, you know, and it's just going to be unique. It's going to be different, but you're definitely going to be able to tell that it's titanium, and I've accepted that, and I think it's going to look good on the bike, and I'm really excited to see it on there. I'm going to keep blowtorching this on, and I'll skip to when I'm done, when I'm finished, and we're going to see what it looks like. Okay, so last night I stopped thinking that I'd be finished, but it looks good, and I think if I keep going, it's going to look better. So here I am again. It is coming along, but I'm going to try and do it for longer, see if we can bring more of the color out. Okay, so I've been having a little bit of trouble getting the whole pipe like that. Like, as you can see, it's kind of like gray, like lightish blue. It's just not really getting its color. And I looked it up, and I think I'm too close. So instead of 1 to 2 inches, heating it up until it's red, backing off, just kind of playing around with it, you need to be about 5 to 7 inches away, and just slowly doing it, which I've been doing, but I've just been doing it too close. And when you get to the red, that's too hot, so you just skip the coloring zone. The coloring zone is like 700 or 800 degrees for the blue that we want, but when you're getting it red, it's apparently around 1100 to 1300 degrees. So I'm going to try and do it from more of a distance, slower, smaller surface area, and see if it'll gain its color. It's not going to ruin it by doing that, because the only reason you would ruin your titanium exhaust is like if it's chalky and if it's white and if you've just kind of butchered it, and I don't think that's very easy to do. So I'm going to try again, see if I can get some color by holding it further away. All right, I'm glad I did that because it's turning out quite well. We're getting the colors out. I think I'm done on this side. I'm going to flip it over and do another round on the back side, and then after that it's going to be time to put it back on and hear this thing. So once it cools down, I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. All right, so here's where I'm at currently. I went through on this one and I did a little more, that edge there. It's got a lot of purple in it, but I think that'll be all right for now. And I tried doing it further back, but it's honestly not changing really. I'm not sure why it won't turn blue. I'm going to try and flip it over currently. I'm flipping it over, And I'm going to try and do the other side and see if the other side is any different. So this, I'm pretty sure, is going to change really easily. But then I'm going to work my way up and see if that changes and if I can get it to turn the color I want. Alright, so I flipped it over and heated it a little more. And I think that's as good as I'm going to get it. Doesn't look great, doesn't look terrible. But now it's cooled off. And I'm going to put it back on. So we're going to try and get this back on that bad boy. I think I got it on there good. It just felt honestly too easy. Like, I thought it was going to be way harder, to be honest, to do that. So that's why I'm a little sketched out about it. But okay, but now I am so dumb. Okay, we got it on there, but we got this stuck. Okay, we got it. We got it. We freaking got it, baby. We freaking got it. That wasn't too hard. Okay, I'm gonna go around, do the rest of the clips. Pretty sure there's still one on that side, and we've got this one that goes on the slip-on. Check it out. Looking pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, this looks pretty good. A lot better than it did before. I've got a bit of a problem. I trapped this down in there, and the bottom is too big for it to fit. I really don't want to have to take this back off, but I might have to. Let's see. Oh, that's not gonna fit. Oh, motherfucker. So now I have to take that clip off again. Fuck. Okay. I gotta do it. I'm glad I caught that before I put the rest of the freaking clips on there. I'm gonna take this one off here real quick. Take this out. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Push this back in there. Good. Got it. Got it back on there. We got this out of there. Put this right in there. Right in there. And then I'm going to do the rest of the clips. Then, after that, we're going to do these. Reconnect all these with the washers. And then we'll do clip on. And that's it. Okay, so I've taken all the clamps and put them back on. Got them on there. So now I'm moving on to these. This one goes right here. This one goes right here. And once I get over there, I'll show you that. But I'm just going to tighten these on real quick. Okay, so I've done the other side. And we've got the last two. Let's see. So this one with the cords, the long one, goes up there. It's the first one that goes right here. That's disgusting. And this one that goes back here, the cord is right here, but it comes back, it goes back there. So I'm going to tighten these real quick. Alright, I went ahead and tightened it. Now, moving on to the last part, putting the slip-on back on. This is probably one of the easiest parts, but to be fair, this whole project overall pretty simple. I am just not very good. Ooh, this looks good. Need to get this back on there. Actually, I'm gonna do this first, so that way it's tight. Alright, so I went back to the video, and this is right. So we just got this right here. Clamp this on there, tighten this down, just like that. Let's get let's see, it's this one. Yeah. I think, oh no. Now, let's do this. Last screw right here. Connect that in there. So, I don't know what happened, but it's just not lined up and it's not movable. I thought I could get it with shear strength, but it's not gonna work. Taking the clip off, taking this off, and then I'm gonna bolt this on first, then do that, and hopefully that'll work. Alright, took it off, so here's the deal. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bolt that in there, then I'm gonna push the exhaust in, put the clamp on and put the string on this thing. So I'm gonna tighten this bolt real quick. Man, did they not make this easy or what? I got it on there, I got this in there, and I got it on there, but not all the way. I'm trying to get this thing on there. Good thing it's made out of titanium, or else I think I would have probably snapped this with the amount of force I'm using. It's got me sweating like a dog out here, but I'm gonna try and finish this up real quick. I think I got it, but that was not easy. Way harder than I expected. The trick that I did was, before you put the clamp and that on, then screw that in. Don't do that. Screw this in first, just lightly, not tight, so that way it has play. Then push this down and slip this on. Kind of shake it from up here, move it around until it gets in there. Then make sure it's all the way, because it was pretty hard to get all the way. So shake it hard until you think it's as far as it'll go. Then do the clamp, so if there is any more room, that it'll tighten it completely. And then, or not the clamp, do this thing, the string, so it'll tighten it completely. Then do that, make sure it covers any gaps in the holes, so there's no exhaust leak. I am gonna back this thing out of the garage, fire it up, cold start, 2020 S1000rr, full titanium exhaust. Here is how it looks. Was it worth the 5, 6 or so hours? No. But now every time I look at my bike, I'll know how much work I put into this fucking thing. And the camera doesn't do it good. It looks better in person, but it's not perfect, but it looks better than it did at first. Cold start coming up. All right, I got her out of the garage. Here she is. I want to make sure I didn't trip any codes. A little nervous for that, but okay, here we go. That sounds amazing. No code. There's a little bit of smoking down there. I'm gonna wait a little longer. I think it's normal, like the WD-40 burning off or the polisher, but hopefully that's not a problem. The smoking is going away. It's kind of gone, so I think it was just the extra residue burning off. But anyways, I'm not gonna lie, I think this sounds better than it did before. A lot darker and deeper and meaner.